What is the stupidest thing you saw someone do in high school? A girl took some drugs that would make her eyes bloodshot. Then told the teacher she wanted to go to the nurse for eye drops. But really walked across the street and got her nipples pierced. During the annual high school pageant, one of the contestants said he wanted to be the American flag when he grew up. That dude was me. I still lie awake at night wondering why I said that. Friend of mine had a habit of slamming his head into against pretty much everything. I'm talking lockers, tables, etc. One day at lunch he started playing bottle flip with an orange juice container. A buddy of ours dared him to crush it with his head if he landed the flip. A teacher overheard our plan and started walking over to put a stop to it. My friend flipped the container, landed it and locked his eyes with the horrified teacher before slamming his skull into the box, soaking the entire table in orange juice. This may not have been the stupidest thing ever, but it sticks out in my mind. While watching a documentary that was clearly showing a whale on screen, one girl pointed and shouted "a shark," completely earnestly. Someone in the class, who happened to be Muslim, was making their flip phone make beeping noises. Another kid screamed "it's a bomb," and dolphin dived into the hallway. Kid in 10th grade biology ate an organ from his frog during dissection. He won $50 but had to be rushed to the ER to get his stomach pumped, as the frog had been dead and marinating in formaldehyde for quite some time. Moron. Similar story. I bet my mate $60 in biology to lick a sheep's lung. He licked it and I didn't believe he actually did it. So he did it again and I was down $60. We had a genius at my school put a fake gun through the bank's pneumatic tube thing with a note that said "don't make me use this." Bank did not find this funny. I knew a couple of budding chemists in junior high. One of them in particular stands out. This arsehole stole a lump of sodium from chemistry, coated it in Vaseline and flushed it down the toilet. The idea apparently being that the sodium would go boom somewhere in the sewer. When we came to school the next morning, there was a 10-foot poop water fountain in the middle of the football field. The same genius also lit a smoke bomb in a stairwell. Apparently he was gunning for something that would maybe set off a fire alarm, but he vastly overdimensioned it and managed to fill the entire top floor of the building with thick, billowy smoke. Friend of mine stole a small bottle of mercury that was in our science lab for some reason. Used to pour it into his hands and roll it around. A few of the braver dumber kids would all take turns doing it. Looked like T-1000. This was 20ish years ago and they're all still alive and, as far as I know, cancer free. One day while sitting in class, an explosion occurred outside, in the hallway. As it turned out, as a prank some kid lit off an M80 firecracker and then ran for the exit. Didn't take long for the school to find out who was the culprit. In his haste to make his escape after lighting the fuse, he forgot to take his book bag with him. I do not know how they punished him. My friend burned her mohawk off. We would spike it in the morning with the hand dryer at school, because her mom wouldn't let her have one. Her mom caught wind, probably through one of her siblings, that she had one and called her while we were at lunch, and told her she'd better not have one when she got home or she was in deep shit. She pulled out her lighter like a bamf and burned that shit right off. Didn't even hurt herself doing it. Dumb, but pretty awesome. 2. I didn't find this stupid, but the teacher did. One kid who always gets bullied dressed up as Jotaro, and his buff strong friend as Star Platinum. So whenever the bullies tried to pick on him, he would yell Star Platinum and his friend would beat the shit out of them. Dude tried to car surf his buddy's minivan. Well, even though the friend was down, he thought it would be funny to swerve back and forth. Surfer fell off the F-King roof and got a major concussion and an ambulance ride. Kid I went to middle school with moved after 8th grade. A couple of years later his obituary was in our local paper. A lot of his family lived there. Nothing in the obituary about how he died. Turns out he was car surfing on the last day of school. Driver had to brake suddenly to avoid hitting a group of people in the parking lot. Kid fell off backwards. bashed the back of his head and broke his neck. Some dumbasses of my class went in group to the bathroom and measured their dicks together with the same rules. I didn't actually seen it, but they talked about it for days. Try to steal a whole bottle of mustard from the crowded cafeteria. I don't know why he wanted the mustard, but he got suspended for trying to steal it. I went to a Catholic high school, and one time during 9th grade religion, a girl raised her hand and asked if Jesus came before the dinosaurs. Kids were playing chicken with cars. One kid, a gymnast, was run over and broke both legs. One boy played chicken. He jumped out in front of a lorry and got killed. He wore his uniform with so much pride. He got buried it in. It is a constantly retold story in my old school. One dude expressed the opinion that he thought all old people should be euthanized. He didn't understand why we were all horrified, and said that we were being irrational. After about half an hour, it came out that he thought euthanasia was a process that returned an old person to youth. I used to go to a pretty poor school in Sacramento, so lots of weirdos. There was this guy in science class that would jack off under the group desk and called himself Ashy Dick. Awful school. I often wonder what most of the assholes are up to now. A kid on the soccer team thought it would be funny to drink an entire bottle of ranch before practice. Obviously didn't end well for him or the turf. A kid called for help from me and another child because she saw a bird walk. She wanted us to try and capture it because it needed medical help right away. Why? You may ask. Because this girl was completely convinced that birds could not walk and could only move through flying. Went to a small private school and the classrooms were built around a balcony overlooking a gymnasium. There was a ball stuck between one of the ceiling beams and roof 40 feet at least from the floor. A teacher climbs over the balcony and proceeds to hang onto the I-beam and sort of monkey bar his way to the ball and knock it out. I thought the man was going to die. Stupidest thing I saw someone do in high school was had a friend walk into a convenience store around midnight with a ski mask on. Panic button hit instantly and he had a lot of explaining to do. Stupidest thing I saw someone do recently was not wear a mask when walking into a convenience store around midnight recently. Promptly told to leave and not come back until they had a mask on. A kid was masturbating in the bathroom stall and then another kid took a picture of him doing it from underneath the door and posted it on Twitter. Stupid and messed up all around. Spoiler. He got himself killed. Once a year my high school had career days. Every year the army recruitment would come with an inflatable obstacle course, ending in a big ol' slide. Well, this kid decided to get high, skip his last period and do the obstacle course. He got to the side and did a giant jump off of the top, hitting the bottom, bouncing up high, and landing on his head on the gym concert floor. I didn't know the kid, but it was a tragedy and a big deal in our small town. Edit. I just looked up old news articles. It was a health fair, not career days. During a school shooter drill, one of the class dipshits was complaining the whole time, and when the teacher told him to be quiet and that this is for our safety, the kid said, "Yeah, 'cause I have a gun in my bag." Which prompted the teacher to call the principal and the security guards, and the kid got suspended, at the very least. My friend lit up on the damn bleachers during lunch on school property and he just sat there smelling like weed, cigarettes, and booze. When a teacher came up to us, she took one whiff then says, "Are you guys smoking?" To which he replied, "No. But we saw so and so doing it." Teacher went off and called in security on the kids he talked about. We then went to Safeway and stole a giant 24 pack of some beer. It was gone by lunch. He was a crazy motherfucker. When he was smoking there again, he tossed a whole bag of weed over the side of the bleachers to keep from being caught. Mans went down and got it, but came back covered in dust and cobwebs, along with dirt and other unknown items. May I add that he went undercover in my class for a whole semester. We had a substitute due to the teacher's newborn. There was also another time where a group of around 15-20 kids were being led to Safeway on a mission to steal as much booze as possible. Grab whatever you could and run like hell. I was among the group and took little. only enough to keep my stash supplied for the next month. This included beer, snacks, and drinks. I have lots of stories from my public school days and would love to share them with others. Edit. Grammar. Not in US. It was a boarding school. A friend accompanied a buddy to sneak out at night and continue an affair the buddy was having with a school worker. They thought the hubby was out of town for work. The hubby had gotten wind of the going on and laid a trap for the guys with a mob. One died at the scene and the other later from a beating. A kid in my English class in junior year spray painted his eyeballs black in the middle of class, screamed in agony, and ran out of class. The teacher had no idea what was going on and turned around to see a kid holding his eyes, screaming in pain, and clumsily running out of the room. Saw a 10th grade kid selling ecstasy and weed in the middle of the hallway. Wasn't even trying to be discreet with kids and teachers walking past as they exchanged the money and drugs. Or the First Nations kid who brought a knife to school to stab white kids. Made the mistake of cutting my brother's side up with it in math class. Kid spent a bit of time in jail for assault with a deadly weapon, concealing a weapon, and uttering threats. He was only 15 and was trying to get into a branch of the Bloods. A close friend of mine was playing trivia crack and got the question. What is North America? Country, continent, state, or island? He answered country and then yelled out, how is that wrong? North America is a country. And we had to spend the next 5 minutes explaining to him that he was wrong. We live in North America. Full stop. Full stop. I would get very intoxicated in the morning before high school. Did it like 3 times. Each time. Already trashed. I would enter the school with one of those huge Disney collectible coffee mugs filled with a strong rum and coke. How I didn't get caught is beyond me, knowing now that liquor stays on your breath. Also, it was mind-numbingly stupid because I was a good kid with college prospects and a future. Sometimes I wonder how different my life would be now if I got caught. 2 guys actually fist fighting over a girl. You can't make a girl fall in love with you by beating up the other guy she is interested in. Guys. No. But you can make the other guy stay away from her. Fear of getting beaten up multiple times can make you forget all about how much you like someone's ex-GF. There were a few girls that literally couldn't get a date because every other guy in school knew that her ex-BF plus a couple of his buddies would catch him and give him a decent beating. During Valentine's Day of my senior year, 2016, the class president and his buddies decided to take the stage of Valentine's Day activity and did the strip dance. Magic Mike style. Humping the floor. Twerking. All that stuff. Students were throwing $1 bills at them and recording. We ended up in the news and gossip shows, and now that school doesn't do activities anymore. Just because they wanted to be the kings of swag. Okay, this was in my 8th grade, but we were in an advanced class. It was a sort of woodworking class. And this genius guy. Okay, he was book smart, not at all common sense smart. He decided to sanding block the back of his hand. And that's not the stupidest part. Later, when he was complaining it was hurting like hell, he decided that putting hand sanitizer on it would help reduce the pain. No joke, teachers from other room all the way down the hallway came rushing over to ask what the murder screams were.